People of the world, welcome to Send It Rising Live this Thanksgiving week. What are you grateful for? I'm grateful for all the incredible people in my life. And no, I do not believe in coincidences. We've talked about it before. I do not believe that the people that into our lives do so by some random, haphazard, chaotic, I don't know, unfolding of the universe. It does feel as though there is order. And so every time someone appears onto the show, it warms my heart because we end up having some of the deepest, most beautiful conversations. Speaking of deep and beautiful conversations, I was sharing with our guest today that I'm going to go meet someone's mom, my girlfriend's mom, this Thanksgiving. And I'm a little bit nervous, not going to lie about it. And we were talking backstage about it. And I can tell you that our guest today is empathic and kind, an excellent listener, super duper smart. She also happens to be the owner of Smallwave Marketing, and she's going to teach us all about that purpose-driven life. You ever lived a purpose-driven life? Have you ever had a purpose-driven experience where you wanted to work with someone who is making the world a better place? Well, you are in the right spot because, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the angel herself, Audrey Hutnick.
Hello.
All the applause, so much applause. So talk to me about this purpose-driven idea. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, we're talking about definitely kind of following the path that get you there. So I had started my career out in an aluminum foil industry. So I was a purchaser there and worked with, raw goods, screws, nuts, bolts, and aluminum. And as you could guess, that's not very interesting and does not fill my cup up whatsoever. And so ultimately that kind of set me out onto the path of what does, that purpose and that drive do for me as an individual and ultimately, allow to spread that to others. So that's, fast forward a decade or so, we have Smallwave Marketing, really trying to keep purpose front and center when we're marketing small businesses and nonprofits.
I want to address the cynics. So I've been into purpose, or what I refer to as cause marketing. I'm not sure if you use that particular word. I literally put someone in a BNI chapter whose sole role was to get cause marketing clients. I figured that the synergy between cause and small business was a marketing endeavor, which is to say that if you do it right and you support charities in interesting and engaging ways, then it builds social media for you. It's a win-win. You get to donate to the nonprofits. You get to spend your time with the nonprofits. You develop relationships with the nonprofits, and all of a sudden people want to hire you, work with you because that is your strategy. And people would come up to me and they would go, you're not doing this for the right reasons. Like, we don't like it. We don't like that you are trying to have your cake and eat it too. Like, if you want to give, just give. Don't run around patting yourself on the back, telling everyone how special you are. And my response to that was, well, it's capitalism. I don't know if you noticed, but you have to buy things, right? You got to go to the store and you have to give them this thing called money. And when you do that, you can actually get the bread and feed your family. And so if I can feed homeless people and my family at the same time, why are you getting crabby with me? Do you understand what they're talking about? And is there a fine line there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, when it comes to purpose and, donating to your nonprofit and letting other people know about it, there's that. And then there's also just kind of, living your life and doing things that feel right to you and on your own personal brand. And I think that's that line where it's, right. Are you a widget company and you're like, okay, X amount of dollars, will be donated to this nonprofit, which is amazing and great. But like, are you doing it just because like, oh, you saw someone else online do that and like, oh, this would be great PR? Or is it more of, you have a really personal connection with the USO or with an autism, research organization or whatnot. And this is just so much more and more beyond a business, just idea and more of what is your personal brand and how do you kind of fuse the two together when you have that ability to make those decisions.
So historically, large companies, they were always the ones that would take on these initiatives. And we would see that because, I don't know, Coke can save some polar bears. You know what I mean? And look how cute it is. Like they've been doing cause marketing for years. BP, when there's a major oil spill, they're like, did you know we actually plant X number of trees? Look at this amazing thing that we do. You know what I mean? Like, because that's where I think people get a bad taste in their mouth, is because they see major multinational conglomerates doing PR to basically obfuscate the fact that they're doing these horrifying things over here, and they feel bad. And for them to hire people, they also want the folks that work for them to feel like their company isn't, a horned devil, like doing horrifying things to the health of the earth. So I think there's a lot of skepticism there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and I think that you can compare a Coke with like a Warby Parker or a Tom's, and I think that all kind of comes back to, why did they get their company started? So why did Coke get their company started? To sell this like sugary fizzy beverage.
It had cocaine in it. They were drug dealers.
There's that. And then, why did a Warby Parker get their company started? From the very beginning, it was that 1-for-1 model, or, Tom's 1-for-1 model. And so I think that there's that in the belief of, why are these big companies all of a sudden doing these shifts, or did it come from the very, ground up start?
Yeah, and the other thing too is there's always this like savior complex. Even Tom's gets flack because local shoemakers will complain, because they'll go, "You put us out of business, dude." Me and my family have been making shoes in Nigeria for 5 generations, and here in comes Tom's and disrupts our whole industry, and and all of a sudden we can't do what we did anymore. So I mean, even angels with the best intentions, can because we don't really ever know the true ramifications of our actions, even if they're incredibly well intentioned, and so there is some fallout when it comes to this cause marketing stuff. And I'm not trying to pretend that it's some sort of like perfect panacea for all of society's ills, but wouldn't it be nice if most people marketed that way? Because then we would have sort of ground up social movement from it's almost like retooling capitalism, where the consumers say, you know what, we need our businesses to act in a certain way. And when they do that, we vote with our dollars. And I almost thought that it would be cool if you could go to the supermarket, scan, just use Google Lens, for example. Say there was a Google Lens, cause marketing app that you could go to any product, you take a picture of it, and it immediately pulls up a page on the company's website where it shows like where they stand on certain things, if they donate and how much they donate, and their societal impact, and blah, 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 blah. Like there could be a whole report on that company. That could be really neat. I bet there are websites out there that do that.
I bet it does exist.
Do you know of any websites that kind of give a company a score, like you get an F because you destroy the earth every day, you're horrible?
Ooh, not just as a broad term, like industry specific, but nothing, not off the top of my head, but I'm sure like that there are some in existence that just need a little bit of promotion, because you're right, that definitely is something that speaks to a lot of people these days.
Yeah, people keep getting canceled. Are companies getting canceled? Are you noticing any of that? Facebook, people are trying to cancel Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, I think the term cancel might be more common these days, but I know like Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A, for depending on different people's beliefs or whatnot, like I've definitely heard of a lot of, kind of uproar about different organizations like that.
That's true. Yeah, people I think have a visceral hatred for Mark Zuckerberg, which is so wild, because it's almost like we have this like growth model kind of caterpillar moth butterfly thing with billionaires, where like we love them and then we hate them and then we love to hate them, and then we like it's just society. They're celebrities, just this billionaire class celebrity thing. I feel like Elon Musk has sort of avoided a lot of the hate. He smoked weed on Joe Rogan's podcast, and so he got a lot of flack for that. His stock dropped precipitously because he decided to smoke weed on. And then he named his kid. Do you see what he named his kid? It's like it's a string. It's basically like an algorithm, like Ash something, and people kept asking him, "How do you pronounce your kid's name?" It's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we got that compared to Northwest, or
What's up with Northwest?
Well, Kanye West's kid.
Oh, thank you.
No.
Celebrity names. Northwest. I love it. Kanye left Wyoming. I don't know if you knew that, but one of my employees, she lives in Cody, and that's where he had a ranch, and they're selling his Raptors. So if you want to get in on the Raptor sale, Kanye's Raptors, they are going to be at auction in Cody, Wyoming area. It's probably an
Take
internet.
note. Yeah.
That's right. An investment. Okay, so yes, I would love to wave my magic wand and have cause marketing be this sort of ubiquitous, everyone does it sort of thing. And I think technology is going to help in a lot of ways. It's just, I don't know, man. Small business marketing is it's tough to get people to care about someone's Facebook page, say. You know what I mean? Of like a small business. Like, for example, you're an accountant. Okay, great. You go do the Susan G. Komen run. That's cool. You put the badge on your website. You mention it on your website. You get 3 likes. You move on with your life. Do you see what I'm saying? People want clients. So how do you tackle that for, like, I don't want to say boring industries, but boring industries?
Yeah. Yeah, and absolutely. Like that's a question we get quite often. And for us, it always comes back to strategy. So, you as an attorney or an accountant or any sort of small business owner, you see there's Facebook and social media happening. And you think you have to do it, but do you need to do it? And is that the right way to get in front of your audience? And so those are the type of things that, is it worth for you to put all this effort in creating 3 posts a week and on this platform and that platform, or is your time and energy spent better in another area that really connects with those, with that audience? And so not to say social media isn't great, it just all comes down to who are you talking to?
I hear you loud and clear. I can't look away from this comment. So Nelson on Facebook rolls up and he writes, "You guys look like Blossom and Joey from the 90s." Thank you, Nelson. Thank you for that wonderful comment on Facebook. If y'all want to join us for the live show, youtube.com/Send It Rising is the best way to do that. You can troll us like Nelson is doing in this very moment. So he's not, I don't know if he's wrong. So when people are looking for the platform, that they want to operate in, I don't know. I just think that there's this sort of like sober reality behind marketing that a lot of people don't want to admit, which is you're not going to go viral, small business. Sorry, bud. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. I know it's very sad for you, but what probably is going to happen is you could have a moderately successful YouTube channel, right? Or you could have the other thing too is it's all relative based on you and your competition, right? That's why I keep telling business owners, it's like, look, like if you get 1,000 subscribers, you are already in the top 10% of YouTube channels. It's most don't get that. They never get there. And so you need to stop thinking about it in terms of like being famous and start thinking about it in terms of who's my competition and can I do better than them? So I don't know. Do you do SEO and that sort of stuff and social media for your clients?
Yes, we do. Like I said, we kind of start with the strategy, but then the execution can kind of go from there. And, kind of going back to, you're not all going to be viral. And, I think that's 100% okay and great. And I think it all comes back to consistency. And, is it like, are you consistent in what you're saying and what you're doing? And, my passion is really following a lot of YouTube channels for van lifers, right? And so I'm very interested and fascinated by this way of life. And time and time again, I hear them all say like, oh, they might have like 100,000, 1 million subscribers now, but like 5 years ago they had 0. And like all of them just say it's the consistency piece. So no matter, whatever your end goal is, I wouldn't say virality should be it, but I think consistency is that secret sauce there.
Yeah, it's true. I'm on episode 340 something of a unpopular show on the internet. And so I always am like, you know what? My best TikTok got 5,000 views. And dude, I've seen it. My sister, a 5,000 view TikTok for her is a bad day. It's rough. You know what I mean? Poor her. A lot of people are out there doing shows, doing podcasts. The number of people doing this has gone up, but it's not a good excuse not to do it. And the other thing too is when you do like what we're doing right now, restream, and then you submit it on Buzzsprout, that's 20 links a show. So from an SEO perspective, that's hard to beat too. And then there's the networking aspect. And look, I own a B2B. So for me, it's all relationships. Okay. So if you're B2C, it's a totally different vibe. You can do Google ads, you can do Facebook ads, you can do LinkedIn ads, all that sort of stuff. But every single person I've talked to who owns an agency is like, well, it's networking, and they do it with a sort of like who's that donkey from Winnie the Pooh? Eeyore. They do it with a sort of Eeyore, it's like defeated look on their face, because at the end of the day, B2B is still just, develop relationships with other human beings, because ultimately someone's going to hire you, and they're not going to hire you because you have a clever Facebook ad. Usually. Now watch me get like a Neil Patel on the show, and they're like, you're an idiot, and here's my funnel. I made $16 million. But I'm talking about normal people, okay? Normies, right? The people that I talk to. I'm not talking to the Neil Patels of the world every day.
Hey, if Neil Patel's watching, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, Neil? My bad. He's one of the 3 people on this live show right now.
Neil and Nelson. There you go.
That's right, Neil and Nelson. Nelson really wants us to do a dance challenge, which is a little awkward. Nelson, not going to happen, buddy. He wants us to look up the Blossom theme song and do the Blossom dance challenge. And not today, Nelson. Not today. I might do it later, unless it's some weird trolley thing. I'll look it up and see what it is, but definitely not live on the show. Yeah, my big bet was, live is where it's at. So I'm gonna do this live stuff. I'm gonna go live. And what I'm realizing, episode 340, whatever, is that when you look at other people's YouTube content, it is so well produced. I mean, it's crazy how like my kids are on YouTube all the time, and I've gotten into editing and animation and trying to understand all this stuff. And I look at this content, I'm just like, man, that video is crisp. That audio is crisp. Their green screen is on point. Their editing is every 2.5 seconds there's a cut. I mean, they put so much work into it. And then I look at, I'm just doing a live show, and typically what these people do is they develop an audience through really high quality content on YouTube that's edited, and then they go live, right? And so then people are like, oh yeah, they already know the brand, and then they kind of grow from there. Unless you're like a Twitch streamer, and then you can kind of grow an audience that way. But what do you think? What do you think the best strategy is for a small business to grow an audience in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, so I hear what you say about editing, but I also think that there can be like that base level editing that you can do in-house pretty quickly. So like, for instance, a YouTube channel I go to quite frequently on the business side is an accountant that just does like QuickBooks online tutorials, right? It's not highly produced whatsoever, but it has, I don't want to say million. It has a ton of views on it, and it's because it's that consistency and it's that education piece. So it's one of those things where it's really tapping into that niche audience. You're solving that problem for them. So like I had a problem with, creating some invoice, and I went to this YouTube channel, and bam, like another view from me. So I think to me, that's what it comes down to more, rather than, glitz and glam and, oh, look at that amazing transition and that, that great footage, scenery footage, and all that.
Right. I understand that. I guess my view is skewed, just like everyone's view is somewhat biased, because I'm watching videos like Lanky Box. I've been watching Bubble Guppies and what's Team Zoomy and all these like kids shows for like the last 4 years, 5 years, right? And now I'm into all these YouTubers like Preston Plays, Lanky Box, what's that other dude? Can't remember. But they just, I don't know, like I'm just watching this stuff because I sit there and I watch these videos with my children, and it turns out that at the end of the day I end up learning a lot about editing, because my daughter will say things like, I want a YouTube channel, and I'm like, we can do YouTube shorts, and then we have a full YouTube channel before I know it. She gets whatever she wants. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, she just manages to do it. And no, I ended up producing an entire music video for her. You can look it up. It's called, you just look up Rainbow and Power VX, and you can find it. Anyway, it's got 100 views, 17 likes. No big deal. We're killing it. Crushing it on the Rainbow. Also, when we went to get her channel, I typed in Rainbow, and it just worked. I'm like, how is that even possible? How do we have Rainbow on YouTube? But I don't know. We do. So, yes. I feel like being an influencer and really having a very popular social media channel for a small business is what most businesses want. They also don't realize that you have to feed that monster all the time. Like if you're serious about it, my sister will do 4 TikToks a day. 4. You know what I mean? She will have them produced weeks in advance. It's wild how much effort she goes into it. Have you ever managed a really popular program like that?
I would say we supported a couple of people on Instagram that have about over 10,000 likes. So I mean, I think in that regards, it's very much it's the balancing act, right? Of like, okay, depending on what their industry is, it's, are you selling something? Are you showing behind the scenes? That balancing act of all that, and then you see the selling posts or the selling, videos or whatnot, kind of can be quite low in the views, and then you have behind the scenes of making jewelry or something like that. So I mean, I think like, yeah, no doubt, four TikToks a day, like man, like, and I think that's another thing is you don't realize how much time goes behind a 60-second video, and I think that's something to really take into consideration of if you want to go down that route or not. Of you're not gonna be viral overnight, but also how much time and effort, and is this really, like, what is the reason why you're doing that? There are so many of the things that we really encourage people to think about before they jump in and be like, okay, Clubhouse is where it's at. That's where I'm putting all my eggs.
Right. Yeah, I did a work from home revolution song. It's like a metal song. I literally took out the guitar and I did distorted guitar, bass, drums, vocals, harmonies, and then I did a full music video with a costume change. Do you understand me? Like, I did the whole thing, and it took me 2 days. I had scenes driving in my car. Very proud of it, and like 7 likes. and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spend 2 seconds on this TikTok, and then it gets like 70. So it's so frustrating to try to to crack the algorithm and get it all figured out. And of course, consistency is required. It's absolutely required for any of these sorts of things as you keep grinding through it. And then like one of my employees, Shali, she check her out, Shali Wanders. If you want to see my cringy music videos, by the way, it's at Send It Rising on TikTok, SenditRising. You can check those out. Dude, I guarantee you will cringe more watching those videos than any other videos on the internet. They are cringe-tastic. So anyway, oh yeah, so she's got 1.1 million views on her TikTok, but it's not monetized. Not really. Like, she's not really making that much money from it. And that's 1.1 million. And then meanwhile, my sister is selling wigs. She makes 50K on one TikTok live. It's wild. It's wild, the difference, So some people are selling it and they're monetizing it. And I knew someone else who had like a ton of people on her Instagram page, and she's like, oh, this is gonna make so much money. Hasn't been able to monetize it. So some people can, some brands can, and others simply cannot. And I'm reminded almost of like the Wall Street Journals and all of these major publishers begging for our money. They're just begging, would you please pay us? Like, this matters, like our articles matter. And everyone's like, dude, we are swimming in competition. You don't think people are ripping off your article the second you write it? I mean, if the Wall Street Journal reports on something and, like, of course, all the other journalists have access to it. They read it, they editorialize it, they quote from it. They just give you that same information. So what's the value of being there first?
I mean, journalism in general is such a tough area to be in. I mean, because you have and then, you have, I don't know how widespread this is across the US, but Block Club is something like, it's an individual, they're an editorial organization on their own, and it's all based off of funding. And, it's one of the, it's so tough because we all want the news, and, but I hear you. Wall Street Journal, Chicago Tribune, all of them.
And then I look at these businesses, and it's not journalism in the sense that there's like breaking news and this and that, but everybody's like a writer now. All businesses are writers, and that transition is absolutely wild. I mean, the fact that basically all businesses under the sun now blog, because that's what Google wants. And then I'm arguing now that all businesses must have a channel. And I've been saying this for a while, but I mean a channel, like a TV channel, like a show, like, welcome to the show. Because that's what's going to differentiate them from everyone else. And no one wants that. And everyone wants to just be able to pay Google and just say, here's $1,000 a month, bring business to my door. And that's why Google is just absolutely hand over fist killing it, and Facebook, because the organic stuff, people just don't want to be bothered. Like there's so many people whose fear of public speaking prevents them from doing what you and I are doing, right? They're not interested in doing that. They don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. Can't we go back to the days of the yellow pages? I don't want to do this stuff. Don't make me. And for those people, it's hiring someone to manage their Google ads and Facebook ads, which is why those companies just have infinite money right now.
Well, and related to that, I mean, one of the big struggles we have with a lot of clients we work is video, right? Like all the social platforms, are shifting to that video content first in their algorithm, and that's a big vulnerable piece for a lot of people, is getting themselves on video, but that's like this new thing that we all need to do. And so everyone's a writer, everyone's a blogger, now everyone needs to be like this video guru, so definitely a shift.
Yep. And I forget what's the old cliche. It's like public speaking is scarier to a lot of people than death. You know what I mean? It's like the top 5 scariest things for a lot of folks. And because I've been doing it for as long as I've been doing it, I've tackled that fear, and it doesn't scare me anymore. I mean, I get nervous. I'm human, but it's not crippling by any stretch of the imagination. For a lot of people it is. I'll ask folks all the time. I'm like, oh, come on my live show. And what I realized was I was getting a lot of guests from places like podcast bookers and all these different spots. And those people want to be on your show. But when I started asking people just in networking, you could see them get nervous. They go, well, what's this about? And it's like, it's the live show, and it's live. And they go through all of those emotions, and I'm like, it's not. Like, I've interviewed a lot of people. It's not that big of a deal. Just hop on. It's going to be fine. But yeah, makes them nervous. So
yeah. And I think, to that same spirit, like for me 2 years ago or whatnot, I think like many people, the idea of networking and the idea of getting into this room, whether it's physical or virtual, and like having to start conversation can be very scary. And, I think similar to your kind of public speaking journey, for me, the networking piece is just, it's just keep on doing it. And for me, like my secret sauce has been Lunch Club as a platform where it's just like, every week you're going on, you're having the conversations, and then it's like the scariness lets up every time, and then that simmers down a lot for me.
That's so true. My problem now is that I'm just bored, like and recently I got to the point where, how do you describe it? It's, I was watching an episode of Seinfeld. Actually, I was talking to some dude, and he's like, hey, did you see that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry makes friends with that famous baseball player, and then the famous baseball player asks him to help move, but they just met? And he's like, why would he do that? He's like, he's trying to level up our relationship. Like, we're not at I help you move, right? This is, you're going too fast. Something Hernandez was the name of the baseball player. Anyway, so he said that's what people in these networking groups do all the time.
Yeah.
Is they go straight to, oh yeah, I sell Mel Luca. I don't care. I do not care. I could not possibly care less. I don't care. I'm being nice to you, right? And you're being nice to me, but we don't care about each other, right? We're not even there yet. And so I'm at the point now where I'm sort of like, can I genuinely, because look, I love everybody. Don't get me wrong. I love everybody. I want everyone to be happy all the time, right? This is my desire for humanity and all beings in all universes. This one and all parallel universes. That being said, I can't buy from everybody, because you get this fatigue when you're in these networking things all the time, where it's just like everyone's constantly selling everything. It's like, no, I don't want Legal Shield. I've spoken to 16 Legal Shield representatives in the last 2 weeks, and I'm not buying from any of you. I don't want it. It's not a service I'm interested in. Thank you very much. But here we are in a room together anyway, right? So what do we actually do? We get to know each other, and people always hop into like, where are you from? And then you have the same conversation. So I feel like my next evolution is doing what I've been learning to do on the show, which is just get to the nitty gritty of like what makes them tick as a human being, and asking them really sort of like, I don't want to say personal questions, but getting right to it, and that tends to work because it throws people off of their train of where this conversation should go, what they think is expected.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think like the whole idea of respect and the respect of someone's time, like what the challenge that I'm trying to overcome is, like you said, it's like two people meeting, talking, and you have a set amount of time, right, to connect. And so for me, it's like, well, when I agree to 30 minutes to talk with you and you show me a 25-minute video that I have to sit through and just like watch, like I don't know what you want me to do with that. And so is it just like, okay, like send me the link, I'll watch it later, which I won't, or is it like pretending I care? Like that's the part where I have the biggest challenge,
right?
Which is like, no, like you're not respecting me. You don't care about me. You just see me as a number. So I'm not going to give you the respect back.
I love that. Oh, I love that honesty. It's so true. Talking about respecting time, we have run out of it, unfortunately, and I've got like 4 more questions. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that our incredible guest today, Audrey Hutnick, can tell you where to find her, how to contact her. Pitch them, Audrey.
Yeah, definitely. You can always get started by checking out smallwavemarketing.com. And that will really lead you to any of our social media sites and LinkedIn. But we're always kind of willing to have that first marketing chat about just how to get started with your marketing. And it doesn't need to really be a huge budget to do so.
Okay, you heard it here first. Audrey Hutnick, changing the world one program at a time.
Ooh, Brad has a request there.
Oh, let's see that dance to close things. Thanks, Brad. Brad has coming in the end of the show. The thing about Brad is he's good at video games because of the height advantage. So it's not fair. Brad Hess. Ladies and gentlemen, youtube.com/Send It Rising is where we want you to go. However, we are also on Twitch, Facebook, and a bunch of other platforms. If you're like Nelson and you want to troll us on the show and ask us to do weird dances that we've never heard of, youtube.com/Send It Rising is where you do that. Available on iTunes and Spotify after the fact. If you're listening on the podcast, we love you. We're going to give Audrey the final word. Hit him with some wisdom.
My wisdom is just do what you love, like deep down, and just spread that. So, whatever that looks like and in whatever form, just kind of go out and spread it.
Spread it, people. We'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.